Welcome back, fight fans, to Gladiators of the Cage, the Road to Glory 7 in beautiful Northfield Park, Ohio at the Hard Rock Casino. Coming up next is our middleweight title belt for the amateur division on Gladiators of the Cage. This is going to be Jeffery coming from Ontario, Quebec, Canada versus Dann Cucuta coming out of New York City, New York by way of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Another one of those interesting fights. Great records. Both fighters always bring it. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Dann Cucuta currently sporting an undefeated record with 4 wins and 0 losses. Very impressive for a man who's 34 years of age. Right. The age discrepancy right now between Jeffery and Cucuta, there's a 13-year age gap. I'm very excited to see how that's going to play out, as Cucuta is probably the most relaxed fighter in this league.
And Jeffery is actually more experienced with 8 fights, 7-1.
Absolutely. I would like to see how that's going to play out. Jeffery also came all the way from Ontario, Quebec, Canada. We'll see if that would have any effect on him, possibly the driving and the travel here mid-weight cut. This is an amateur fight, and I know that they didn't get a 24-hour allowance for the weight cut. I'd like to see how that plays out with the travel.
No doubt. And, you know, being the belt on the line, people are traveling from a long distance to come here and see this match.
Absolutely. Jeffery and Dann Cucuta. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Dann Cucuta, 34 years of age, 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 183 pounds, 2 pounds underneath the 185-pound weight limit, with an undefeated record of 4 wins with 0 losses. Taking on Jeffery, 21 years of age, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 3 inches taller than Cucuta, weighing in at 185 pounds with a record of 7 wins and 1 loss.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our amateur main event of the evening, and it's for the Gladiators of the Cage Middleweight Championship of the World. Fights, our challenger, weighing out of the red corner, he weighed in 185 pounds. He stands 6 feet 2 with a record of 7-1. He represents Team Ascension from Pittsburgh, Ontario, Canada, the Adonis, Jeffery, and his opponent, the reigning Gladiators of the Cage middleweight amateur champion of the world. He weighed in at 183 pounds, 5 feet 11, with a 72-inch reach. He's undefeated at 4-0. He fights for Pittsburgh, Muay Thai, and Wright's gym. He's from New York, by way of Pittsburgh. He is Dan, the Bionic Fist of Justice, Cucuta. Let's get their final instructions. The referee, Victor Francesco.
Gentlemen, clear, fair fight. This is like a man at all times. You can give your instructions in the locker room. Not fighting. Good luck.
It's just something about a title fight that changes the atmosphere.
Things are a bit more solemn now as we're awaiting the first round of Jeffery v. Dann Cucuta. And the title fight is underway. First round beginning. Jeffery circling around Cucuta, who has now taken center cage.
Jeffery already circling away from the power of Cucuta. He does not want to circle into that powerful leg kick by Cucuta. Cucuta realizing that and already throwing the left leg, the front leg, to stop him from circling. Good inside leg kick by Jeffery.
And look at the relaxed position of Cucuta's head. He likes to move his head, but he likes to be relaxed and just kind of flow. And I really love watching that style of fighting, and it's really good for the cardio of a guy like Dann Cucuta.
It really is.
It's like this, the old saying goes, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Oh, great front teep.
Right back
Good
up by
catch by
Cucuta.
Jeffery. Nice takedown. Hold him up against the cage. Jeffery recovering fast, using the cage to get up.
Cucuta now with his back against the fence, and a whizzer.
Jeffery trying to get his head free. Good job controlling him. Still working those knees on Cucuta.
Jeffery with a nice swan-style grip on Cucuta's neck. Throwing knees to the body and hopefully the legs. There it is.
Cucuta remaining very, very calm here, looking to pick his shots. Working the body, trying to hit the ribs. Jeffery, though, keeping the pace, pushing him up against the cage.
It's so hard to tell with a guy like Dann Cucuta. He's a very dominant champion, but he's so relaxed in the cage. You can't exactly tell if he's feigning or if he's actually being hurt or if he's getting tired. I would say at this point in the fight, he's just relaxing.
I think that's what makes him so dangerous. Grant, he lulls you to sleep, and then all of a sudden he explodes. Jeffery doing a really good job using his height to dominate positioning.
Beautiful duck under by Cucuta.
Oh, Cacuta's looking for a big
arm triangle.
He's going to keep working those knees in that Muay Thai clinch. And if it goes to the ground, he'll go for the side choke. But he loves that high clinch position with his Muay Thai background. Good throw by Cucuta.
Beautiful trip.
Powering through it. Working the body hard. This is where you do not want to be with Cucuta. If you're Jeffery, you have to do exactly what he does. Push him back up against the cage, regroup and hold him and work those knees. Jeffery doing a good job driving his head in his form and making it so uncomfortable for Cucuta to land anything big.
Cucuta taking a lot of knees to the midsection. Jeffery has a hold of a single leg. Hopefully he can pull Cucuta off the fence, give him the whip, and get him down.
Oh, good jumping knee by Cucuta. Just when you think you have Cucuta in a position he can't do anything, he does something like that. He lulls you in.
Cacuta's got a deep
crucifix.
headlock.
He's got a crucifix on him, and that's so deep. Oh, you know, the bell may have saved Jeffery there. That was an extremely tight crucifix choke. Rarely do you see that, but it shows how well balanced Cucuta is.
That is an old school choke. I can't even tell you the last time I've seen an actual crucifix being used as a submission.
Oh, wow. Great job of going for it.
Both fighters looking fresh in the corners.
Very relaxed still. There looks like there's no worry on either fighter's face. Both regrouping. Another really good first round, Grant.
Absolutely. Dann Cucuta is just an impressive fighter all around. He's a Pittsburgh local, and he's somebody that everybody around Pittsburgh wants to see fight.
No doubt.
And it's just like you said, Cucuta will lull you to sleep, and then he'll take care of business that way. He ended that round with a crucifix choke, and he looked like he was relaxed the entire time leading up to that.
Well, if there's anyone that seemed on this card tonight to live by the philosophy of Bruce Lee and become like water, he does it. He's just so fluent, and he molds and lets the opponent get aggressive and just molds to it, and then he throws in his game plan and implements it.
Absolutely. And that's not something that you see often from a 34-year-old fighter who's 4-0.
No, great composure on both guys.
Second round underway between Aaron Jeffery and Dann Cucuta for the Gladiators of the Cage amateur middleweight belt.
You know, I really think Cacuta's setting up a big kick.
Cucuta likes to rechamber that leg after the kick. I want to see what he's getting ready to do.
Oh, big takedown attempt, but look, he got his head caught. Jeffery got his head caught, and Cacuta's not letting that go. Jeffery needs to pull his head out. Good job by Jeffery, squaring back up, working the body as soon as he gets the chance, and now a couple of heavy shots to the head of Cucuta.
This may be something that we have not seen Dann Cucuta have to deal with. The smothering of a wrestler and the ground and pound of a true ground and pound artist. Right now, it looks like Jeffery's got Cacuta's right leg trapped in a sitting half guard position for the ground and pound.
A lot of guys really like that position because they can really well punches. It makes it so difficult to reach down and push that knee back of your opponent who's on top. Nice elbow got through there on Cucuta.
Cacuta's still looking ultra relaxed in this position.
He really is. It's very odd, but it's just like, it's not affecting him whatsoever. He's going to work. He's going to try to get up, and he's just waiting for one little mistake to capitalize. Jeffery doing a good job keeping pressure and another good hand, but
Aaron Jeffery's doing a great job of keeping Dann Cucuta down.
Yeah, he really is. And Cucuta has really good hips to get back up with his Muay Thai background especially. Jeffery's really laying in some leather though now. Good hammer fist.
I mean, you have to wonder how much a guy like Dann Cucuta can take on the ground. We haven't seen him be challenged that much in this respect, but I would like to know, is it possible? Is it possible to take Dann Cucuta out that way, or will he snake back up to the standing position and float over and knock out Jeffery later on in this fight?
It's a good question. It's wondering if he's just lulling you in again, pulling you into his game plan, and then all of a sudden he throws something like a crucifix choke.
Absolutely, and we saw in his last fight, he can win by submission. He has that in his pocket.
The dangerous thing about that, he finished with an arm triangle on the ground, but he was using it on the feet to knee the guy to the body.
I was highly impressed by that. Cucuta is putting together the connection between Muay Thai and grappling.
Good job by Jeffery, posturing and big shots to the ribs of Cucuta. Nice overhand left.
Aaron Jeffery seems to be decoding the Dann Cucuta bionic fist of justice.
Cucuta, good job of Cucuta getting the leg under, getting one butterfly, now closing the guard. That's going to save him some big shots, hopefully. He needs to work to his feet here. Jeffery doing a good job of controlling the pace of the fight. It's going to be interesting. Jeffery's trying to pass. Cucuta doing a good job with his left leg, keeping him from passing.
Absolutely. If I were Cucuta, with the length of his legs and his height, I would be trying to keep myself closer to the center of the cage. I'd have a hard time seeing him wall walking with Jeffery laying on him that way.
I think Cacuta's gonna push off here at the waist. He needs to push him away. Good job of Jeffery slipping out, sensing that, landing a couple big, heavy left hands to finish out the round. Cacuta's in trouble. Good job.
Wow, what a way to finish round 2.
And Cucuta still looks relaxed.
Dann Cucuta sauntering back to his corner, waiting it out. Aaron Jeffery with no stool, choosing instead to sit against the fence.
It almost looked there like Cucuta walking back to his corner almost had a snarl on his face, like, okay, this third round, we're changing it up.
Let's have a look at an instant replay, Charlie, and see what we're working with here in the second round.
Here's some of the big shots at the end of the round. I thought Cucuta was gonna push him off and use those feet and just throw Jeffery back. But Jeffery sensing that, passing the guard, passing the legs, and then watch these shots he lands at the end of the round. Heavy, heavy hammer fist shots, making every one of them count. Once again, the ground and pound being
in my
very
opinion,
effective.
Those may have been the only shots insofar that Dann Cucuta did not expect.
Yeah, once he passed that guard and passed the legs, Jeffery knew what to do with it, and he really went for it.
Wonderful knee positioning as well by Jeffery. What instincts to trap the head of Cucuta and throw the hammer fist.
No doubt. You just keep telling Jeffery do more of the same, Grant?
I would say so. I mean, his game plan is working very well right now. I know Cucuta has a chance to get off some punches, but he hasn't done it yet. Can he go this last round without Cucuta doing it?
My thoughts are Cucuta's going to be looking for that one big shot. Nice leg check. Eats that one. Jeffrey's got to be careful. He quit circling. Jeffery quit circling, and he's straight ahead engaging. That's really dangerous, Cucuta. I think he's got his confidence, though, and thinks that he can take Cucuta down again and keep grinding out Cucuta. Good body lock. This could be trouble for Cucuta if Jeffery's able to finish.
Look for the belly to belly.
Good knee to the body by Jeffery.
Jeffery staying very active with his strikes to the legs and body. The knees are adding up over the last 3 rounds. He's got to be doing some damage to Cucuta.
Cacuta's got to push him off or circle off that fence, obviously. He cannot stay up against that cage and take those shots.
Jeffery is feeding a slurry of left uppercuts to Cucuta in the clinch.
And he's working the knees, too. He's scoring both top and bottom. He's keeping Cucuta thinking. He's smothering him up against the cage. Cucuta has to circle off to start implementing his game plan. I'm sure this wasn't Cacuta's game plan.
I'm almost surprised Jeffery hasn't started stomping the feet yet, as we've seen earlier on in this competition today.
He's definitely staying busy.
Aaron Jeffery's highly impressive performance insofar tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Cucuta really has to fight off this cage right here. Good knees to the body.
Knees. Aaron Jeffery is not playing around with those knees. He's not doing it to
tear into the body. Good knee by Cucuta, though. Oh, big knee by Cucuta.
Oh, my goodness. What a tough gentleman in Aaron Jeffery.
And he just keeps pushing forward, unrelenting in this game plan of just grinding him out up against the cage. But now Cucuta throwing a couple heavy shots.
I mean, take a look at Cacuta's back. It looks like he's been getting hit there quite a bit these last couple rounds.
Oh, another good knee by Cucuta, but he's not getting all of his hips behind it because he's up against the fence.
Just extreme pressure on the side of Aaron Jeffery.
And Grant, you being a man yourself who's trained, how grueling is it to hold a man with full adrenaline going up against this cage and be the guy being held up against there?
I'm sure right now Dann Cucuta thought he was in control, but right now he's probably highly concerned with not being taken down.
There's no doubt.
It's tough whenever you become preoccupied with one concern and your opponent feeds you 3 more things to be concerned about. That's how they win a fight.
Jeffery constantly landing from right hand, then into left hand flurries, kneeing the inside of the legs. Cucuta's legs are going to be really bruised up tomorrow.
Aaron Jeffery's clinch game is second to none here in the cage tonight at Gladiators.
Oh,
in the
is he
cage
going to go for
February
it?
7th.
Oh, Cucuta slips free, but pressed right up again against the cage. Good control by Jeffery, really implementing that. Good overhand right.
Wow.
Cucuta, oh, big knee by Cucuta.
Aaron Jeffery, Dann Cucuta, the 3rd round is done and the fight will go to the judges.
Jeffery's hands went up in the air right away. He feels he did enough, and boy, I'll tell you what, that last round was impressive.
Aaron Jeffery just had it in his head. He's got the mental game down. He knew in that 3rd round he was tired and he had been back and forth with Cucuta. But man, oh man, did he turn up the volume in the 3rd round.
Keep in mind, Aaron Jeffery is 21 years old, and the maturity he showed in that tough fight to stick to a game plan and not try to gunsling with Cucuta when he had the opportunities. And it seemed like Cucuta the whole time was trying to lure him into that style. And boy, he kept his head down and grind and stayed active against Cucuta.
I will say, let's have a look at our instant replay, Charlie, and see how that last round went. We'll notice here, Jeffery spent a significant amount of the last round in this position.
No doubt, pushing. Look how he just keeps manhandling Cucuta, pushing him up against the cage. Knee after knee after knee striking, and then he switches it up. He'll work his punches.
I mean, whenever you're throwing that volume of knees, it doesn't matter if you're landing them perfectly. It doesn't matter if you're landing them on Cucuta's forearms. They're going to begin to hurt.
Anyone that's ever been in this training in this position knows how grueling this is.
And now to our ring announcer, Dan Bogan, for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from one of these fighters. Another outstanding fight. Someone having a fight tonight. Two judges scored it 30-27. One scored it 29-28. For your winner, by unanimous decision, and new Gladiators of the Cage amateur middleweight champion of the world, out of the red corner, the Adonis, Aaron Jeffery.
I got to tell you what, if the question is, did he do enough? Yes, he did.
You folks have made a little bit of travel to see you do this tonight. Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank all my friends and family who came out to see me. You guys are the best. I also want to thank everyone from Gladiators of the Cage for taking me and letting me have this title fight. Dan, he was a sick opponent. It was a tough fight.
You seem to time up and frustrated. Never let him get a chance to use his violent crystal justice. You time up and put the knees to him. Was that the plan?
That was exactly the plan. I knew Dan's a really good striker. I didn't want him to deal with that. I knew if I put him on the fence, I could wear him out, and that's what I did.
Outstanding. Congratulations to our Gladiators of the Cage amateur middleweight champion of the world, the Adonis, Aaron Jeffery. If you've been enjoying this, hold on. The pros are coming up next. We're going to take a brief intermission. Visit the concession stand, visit the Little Bruiser Fighter, and get your Gladiators of the Cage t-shirt. Short break and the professional MMA fighters return next.
What a fight between Aaron Jeffries and Dann Cucuta. No one saw that coming. I mean, that was an amazing fight. Aaron Jeffries chose a game plan, and he stuck to it until he got the decision, and that makes him the new Gladiators of the Cage middleweight champion.
What maturity he showed to stick to that game plan, fighting an older, tough fighter in Cucuta, and boy, he just kept to that game plan and grounded out.
Absolutely. Perfect clinch game. Perfect clinch game up against the fence. He utilized everything that he needed to. I was asking myself, why is he not foot stomping? Why is he not breaking and throwing the combos? Why would he? He's got him pinned up against the fence, and he's destroying his legs.
Yeah, and it was a clinch game against a Thai boxer, and anyone who's trained with a good Thai boxer knows their abilities of clinch. Great job, and that shows Pushing a guy up against the cage is way different than pushing a guy up against the ropes, and that's what makes a difference when you're in a cage match.
Without a doubt. I have to say, the first round, I was a little bit concerned for Jeffries. I thought Cucuta was going to start getting into his rhythm, get his tie clinches, start throwing those pivoting and turning tie knees. It didn't end up that way.
Jeffery just would not allow it.
Jeffery baited him into that tie game and wrestled him out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What a great fight tonight at Gladiators of the Cage. And we're happy to have a new Gladiators of the Cage middleweight title holder coming all the way from Canada. This is an international game now.
Well, now he's got 2 straps. And you know what? I think he's going to be eager to defend it again and come back. I think he's the type of guy that's going to say, I'm ready to do this as soon as you can get me back on a card.
I certainly hope so. I can't wait to see Jeffries fight again.
Absolutely.